Hey guys, it's me and I'm live as usual, and I'm going to update everybody on Twitter, which you might want to follow if you want to keep updated, keep up to date in terms of like if I'm late or if I'm on time, like all of that. I've started using my Twitter, so yeah. I'm live on YouTube. Feel free to join us for a free psychic reading or just to hang out. Okay. Wait, I have to link this stream, otherwise there's no point. Okay, where is my stream? Live. Nope. I'll get the hang of this soon. There we go. Share. Okay. Live stream. There we go. Now I've tweeted, so hopefully some people will come join us. But how is everybody? How is everyone? It's been a while. Well, it's been a week, and it felt like forever, which is showing me how much I'm really enjoying it. I've kept saying that every time, but today I thought I'd be more casual than last time. I'm just gonna try and be like as casual as possible because, you know, I want to create a very hospitable environment for everybody. So how is everyone? You know, like the Mercury retrogrades now in the shadow period, it's past and it's in its shadow period, so it should get easier and easier. But we have the Saturn retrograde now, which is in my sign. It's in Aquarius, so I'm in the middle of a Saturn return plus this Saturn retrograde. So yeah, it's a time of growth for sure. And I actually looked up like what the Saturn or this specific Saturn retrograde is supposed to teach us, and it's apparently the topic is money, and it's supposed to teach us like to kind of, or not teach us, but it's the energy itself is very like slowing down kind of thing, because you know Saturn is a slow moving planet, but the meaning behind the planet Saturn is like restrictions and I guess learning as well, but like slow growth, slow steady growth. But it being in retrograde, I feel like it is still like growth and like slowing down, but and restrictions, and because it's in retrograde, it's probably going to feel like some restrictions are kind of loosened a little bit, so we have to, in a way it's kind of, I guess, freeing, but it means that we have to be a little bit careful with our money, because money is the topic here for this retrograde. But like in general as well, we have to be like very careful when it comes to decision making and yeah, like rules that, you know, we used to have that might feel a little less prominent, you know. But what's the energy like for this stream? That's really important, you know. I love doing this. I love like checking out what the energy is of this stream. What do we need to know? Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords is deception, and okay, the moon is really standing out to me, and the moon represents deep feelings, intuition, fear. I feel like the topic of this stream, or like the energy of this stream, is about deception. That's really interesting. Okay, I just dropped that. What? I'm gonna ask for another card. Please give me another card to show the energy of this stream. Five of Pentacles. Oh, Five of Pentacles is about Five of Pentacles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Isn't the Five of Pentacles about loss? Hang on a sec. I'm forgetting my tarot. But, you know, hey ho. Five of Pentacles. Oh yeah, it's about loss, feeling lost, feeling kind of, yeah, lost as in like directionless. I guess that's kind of a learning curve for me. I'm trying to find some kind of direction when it comes to these live streams, but at the same time I don't want to be strict because I don't want to create a strict environment. Okay, so what can help me with this live stream to feel less directionless and less yeah, like unclear? What can help me? What can help me in this live stream? Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords, okay. Getting out of old thinking patterns. Also, like, 10 is the end. So the end of, like, ending this cycle of needing to do things a certain way or think things in a certain way. Get out of your head, basically. So this is telling me to get out of my head. Which is very fitting for me because I tend to think a lot. I have a moon in Virgo, so I think a lot. It's not an air sign, but like overthinking is it's a thing that I do very often. But yeah, okay. Getting out of my head, that's really making me think like I need to meditate more. Because I do find that when I'm not thinking, like when I'm in bed and staring into space is when I can get the ideas, like get ideas for my videos and like for things to talk about that might actually help people. Like I'll show you, I'll tell you on my phone. I have some things. Okay, like when I was staring into space, these are the ideas I got. And you guys can tell me like in the comments or in the chat what you think. A guided meditation for healing your younger self. I was thinking about doing, like making that. And Saturn Return, reflections, goodbye year 2, hello year 3. Because I'm in my 3rd year of my Saturn Return, which I'm really happy about because like it's coming to an end. Yay! Even though like I should be grateful for this current moment, you know, being present. And then yeah, in the same bracket, I have breaking old thought patterns, thinking less, doing more, because, you know, that's what I'm learning actually. That's what I'm learning through this Saturn return, is to think less and do more, because yeah, as I said before, I tend to think a lot, like overthink everything, which delays action, and you know, that really doesn't manifest anything. And then Saturn in Aquarius dates I have for some reason, because I just really want to know. But yeah, I was thinking about doing this guided meditation for healing your younger self. Oh, let's actually do that now, because, you know, that's the idea I have right now. Okay. So what I do is I close my eyes, and you guys can do this with me. I close my eyes and just breathe. Three breaths in and out. And then I imagine my younger self. What does she look like? Or what does he look like? And then what I do is I actually kind of imagine them coming from above, like from the sky, like standing or sitting on a cloud. Like imagine them coming towards you. And for me, this is like, I did this to heal my trauma. So I imagined myself as the traumatized younger self. And I actually see that person, see her as a separate entity from my current self. So I'm actually looking at them. I'm not actually her, but I'm actually looking at her. And then I talk to her. I say hello and, you know, make the attempt to get to know them. And then I visualize this light from heaven, which she's coming from the sky, but like above her head, I imagine a light, healing light, like coming, like literally like showering her. And cleansing her of all her trauma. And then I tell her how grateful I am for her and the experiences that she went through, because she taught me lessons that I would otherwise not know if it wasn't for her going through her experiences. So I just feel into this immense sense of gratitude. And I do this for as long as I want to, as long as I feel like it takes to really feel like bathed in this sense of gratitude. And then I say thank you. And I'll see you soon. Bye. And then I watch her like going back to heaven. And that's what I do. And I was thinking about doing that for for like an actual video rather than like this is just a demonstration, but it would take up a lot longer, obviously, to actually do the video doing that. I might have done that before on my YouTube channel, but I thought I'd just like redo it because I feel like I could do a better job now than I did before. You know, like the more you do something, the better you get at it. So yeah, I thought I'd do that. Yeah, and talk about my Saturn return, but like in a nutshell, the third year, or the second year, I should say, the second year from March of last year to this March, like this year, I've definitely learned to let a lot of things go. And I was a pretty forgiving person before, but it's not even about forgiveness. It's more about like not overthinking things, like how things should be, like things should be on time and all that. Like that's really gone out the window ever since I quit my job, especially like the schedule and things like that, and setting things at a certain time, it just doesn't work out, you know, because it's not a work schedule. It's just scheduling everything in general. And yeah, and like right now I'm actually working for like part-time for a company, and the boss there, she's very like not like me in terms of like she's not very strict in terms of like timekeeping and stuff like that. So, which I'm really grateful for, but at the same time I'm like learning that it's okay not to be like on time for every single thing, you know. And yeah, it's a learning curve for me, but I'm getting better and better at it. Like yesterday, I thought I'd be late for work because in Japan you have to like there are two ways to pay for the train. One, you can pay by with cash, which just takes up a lot of time because you have to actually go to the machine and buy the ticket and then go through. But there's another way, which is like if you're from England or from London, you'd know like about Oyster Cards. I don't know if they still exist. I haven't been back for a while, but yeah, like Oyster Cards. And Oyster Cards are cards that you use to take the bus or the train. And um and in Japan as well, like it's called, there are two types. There's one called Passimo, and then there's one called Suica, and I use Passimo. And yeah, like I didn't have enough money on the card to actually take the train to work. So I had to change, because I have to change trains on the way. And as soon as I got off the first train, I realized I didn't have enough money, so I had to go back to get my purse because I forgot my purse, my wallet. And so I thought I'd be late, but I was literally to the minute of like when I had to be there. And I realized like you kind of have to trust that everything comes at the right time, and you know that's something in terms of like law of attraction and things like that. You kind of learn through like if you studied or like if you know about the law of attraction, is like trusting that it will come to you kind of thing. But it's not even about that. Maybe it's kind of similar, but like when I was on the train the second time after I got my wallet, because I was already on the train, I had to trust that I'd be at work at the right time. Even if I was late, that had to be the time that I had to be there because there was no way I could have been there earlier. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, like I'm really learning to kind of break through old thinking patterns where, like, before I would have been so stressed out. I mean, yesterday I was stressed out, but there was a part of me that knew that I kind of had to trust the timing. But before this year, I would have literally, like, been freaking out so much about being late, because I really don't like being late. I still don't like it. It's something that I've struggled with my whole life. I really don't like being late for things. I like being early. So the workplace I used to be at before, like, I used to work for an elementary school, and I was always early. I was at least 45 minutes early, if not more. And yesterday I was not early. I was on time to the minute, you know? So yeah, it's something I'm really, like, learning right now, to get out of this, like, old thinking pattern, you know, old habits that just isn't good, you know? Like, you don't want to stress yourself out. If you're late, you're late. There's nothing you can do, you know? But yeah, like, ultimately I wasn't even late. So that's how things go sometimes. It's like, you kind of just have to trust. And yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, it's really interesting how, like, we all go through this Saturn return, and you kind of learn things that you just never expected to learn. You just never would have imagined where you'd be. Like, I would have never imagined where I'd be if I, like, when I was back in England, I literally couldn't imagine not having a full-time job, and, like, I wouldn't have ever thought about, like, how I would have survived. Like, at the same time, I kind of had no option but to come here, because there was literally no job opportunity for me at least at that time, with my then mental health. And yeah, like, I had a music degree, but, like, what was I going to do with it, you know? And there are people who are really skilled with, like, business and things like that. So, like, there were people around me when the people who I went to university with, who are literally succeeding in the music industry. But for me, because of the competitiveness of it, it just wouldn't have been feasible for me, because I'm not a very competitive person, you know? I'm more of a, like, I like healing people, I like helping people, and that just, with that kind of mentality, the music industry just wouldn't have been where I'd been able to, like, where I would have been able to use my own, like, my talents, you know? But yeah, so I'm really grateful that, like, my father told me, like, gave me the suggestion to move to Japan. And yeah, like, I wouldn't be anywhere near as happy if I hadn't come here. But, you know, like, sometimes you just have to do what's right for you and take risks. It was a risk for me, like, even coming to Japan, you know, because I wasn't even sure, like, it was like I was starting again. I was starting life all over again in a new country. And I was very scared. But at the same time, I had faith that it was the right thing for me, because I had nothing going on in England. And it was really, like, it was a wake-up call. I had a wake-up call, like, in England when I went to a psychic in London, and she just predicted a bunch of things about, like, me moving to Japan and, like, you know, succeeding there and all these other things. There are other things she said, but, like, I'm kind of waiting for them. to come into fruition. But at the same time, I'm really enjoying life right now, having so many like job opportunities, because everyone in Japan wants to learn English. Like there are lots of people who struggle with English because the English education in Japan is nowhere near as good as like in other countries. Japan is probably like, in general, this is very like generalized speaking, like, but in general I feel like Japanese people have the least ability when it comes to like speaking English. So which for me is very I'm very grateful for that. But yeah, just like trusting and having faith that what's right for you will come to you it's life-saving for me. It like literally saved me. Just trusting that like I'm going in the right direction right now. And even like quitting the job after 3 years, it was so scary. And like the last day, I remember the last day, and I put in a way, like, because I knew, I trusted that I was going in the right direction, so I knew that I would have survived, and but at the same time I'm human, and humans, we all have egos, like fears. So I did have this like, I was like 90% excited, and I had this like 10% of feeling like, what if it doesn't work out? What if quitting this job is the wrong decision? Like, how am I gonna, like, I didn't have a lead, I didn't have the next step. It wasn't like I was already like part-time doing this like psychic stuff and like teaching English by myself and making income from it. I had nothing. But this 10% that just knew that this is the right direction, no, the 90% that knew that this was the right direction, literally like saved me, because ultimately I just had to quit. I just couldn't take another year of working in this corporate environment. Like, I would have rather like not eaten a meal, like eating 2 meals instead of 3 meals a day, than to continue. That was how bad it was for me. And I guess that pushed me to not sign for the next year's contract, But, and I'm not saying like don't eat to follow your dreams. That's definitely not what I'm saying. And please know that I'm not a doctor, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a professional in any way. I'm just talking about my experience. And please take care of yourself. Your body is very important. And now taking this leap of faith it's just shown me that I did the right thing, even though there is no right or wrong. But I feel like I'm in the right place for where I need to be right now. Because yeah, I don't have a full-time job. I work with kids, I teach English, and I do this spiritual stuff. Like this is all I wanted. This is exactly what I wanted, and this is exactly what I have right now, And it's amazing how taking a risk, just trusting that you're going in the right direction, following your heart, and like ignoring what your brain is saying, because your brain is always gonna, your ego is always gonna try and stop you. It's always gonna do that. That's what the ego does. And yeah, like, I'm not bashing the ego, because there are good things about having the ego, but when it comes to like fears and like it preventing your dreams from coming true, you really want to separate your ego from your heart, because your heart always knows what's right, and your ego is always going to be like chatting in your ear about, oh, but what if you don't succeed? What if you don't have enough money? What if you don't have income? Like, you kind of want to separate that. You like, there's no way that you can just ignore, like you can just remove it, like delete your ego from your brain, because we all have egos, and there's nothing wrong with having an ego, because the ego kind of, it saves us in a way, because we have bodies, and our spirit doesn't have bodies. So that's why our spirit, which is connected to our heart, our intuition, kind of sees things from a bigger perspective, whereas the ego is kind of like this small little, like, I just imagine like the ego as being like this like stubborn little old man, which I'm sorry if you're an old man, like I'm not saying you're the ego, but I'm just like, I just imagine like, what character, like Scrooge living in your brain, saying no, but this is bad and this is wrong and this is wrong and like it doesn't work, like and we all have that, but like being able to actually see that from an objective perspective. Okay, this is the ego talking, this isn't me, this isn't the truth, like being able to separate that really helps us to follow our hearts and follow our intuition. And it always works out. It never fails. Like listening to our intuition never goes wrong. And I'm pretty sure I've done a video on how to trust your intuition, or how to like hear your intuition. But like in the future, if you'd like another video or like another like explanation into how to separate your ego from your intuition, that'd be really good. But in a nutshell, like the ego is always fear-based and it's always negative. Like the ego will never say anything that's like positive or like helpful, whereas our intuition and our connection to the universe will always, I'm sorry about the noise, will always have a love-centered message. So this noise is like telling me to stop, because I don't feel like I can continue with the noise, but I will see you guys next week for another live. But I always have my links all in the comment section in the description box, so please feel free to find me there and purchase a reading if you'd like. So I'll see you soon. Love you.